Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Thanks for joining us for our third class of our balance exercise series. My name is Shelly, and it's great to see you here again. So I know we have a few new people today. So just before we start, I want to remind everybody that the chat box is on the right-hand side of your screen. Or if it's not already open and you're using a tablet, it might be in a collapsed icon at the bottom of your screen, which is sort of like a little circle, and it looks like a chat icon. If you click on that, the chat box will pop open. And if you had any questions or anything you wanted to say during the class, you would type it in the chat box. Of course, I can't actually see it in the class because I'll be moving with you, but I've got my wonderful colleague, Alana Dillon from Parkinson Society BC, who is going to be monitoring the chat box for us. So she'll be able to answer any of the questions that you may have. So thanks everybody for joining us. Today is week 3 of 4, meaning that next week on Monday, it will be our last balance class. And like always, the classes are recorded. So if you did want to revisit the class at some point in the future, you can do so on our YouTube channel, which is Parkinson Society BC. Or you can also find the links on our website. If you're not sure where that is, you can always drop us an email and we can send the links to you if you wanted to revisit the class in the future. And you'll probably see at the very top of the chat box, I've pinned in our website for our future exercise classes. If you're interested, you can have a look at the listings we have for upcoming classes, and you can sign up for them in the future if you would like, given that this one is ending next week. And before we start, I do have a couple of safety pointers that I just wanted to discuss. I received an email from somebody asking about advice for safety. So given that it is a virtual exercise class and I'm not actually there in person with you, it's difficult for me to monitor how everybody is doing. So it's important for you to make sure if you feel a little bit wobbly or you're not so confident with your ability to stand and move around, perhaps have somebody nearby to support you if you're able to, or if not, maybe have a wall or a table, or as you can see, I have a chair that you can hold on to. So just make sure we're nice and safe. And if you're somebody who's doing this at home, you can, of course, wear your shoes if you would like, or you can be barefoot. Just be a little bit careful if you're in socks. Unless you're on carpet, then socks are not too bad. But if you're on hardwood floor, just be careful that the socks are not going to cause you to slip, given that a lot of our exercises in the balance class are going to be weight shifting and lots of pivoting type activities. So we just want to be a little bit mindful. And if at any point in the class you feel like I'm moving too quickly for you, don't worry. Feel free to slow it down. You don't have to do the same speed as I am. Just go at a pace that's comfortable for you, as long as you're getting the main form of the exercise. Okay, so if anybody has any questions, you can feel free to type in the chat box, and either Alana can answer them when we're in the class, or at the end of the class, I'll come forward and I can try to answer any of those questions as well. Okay. So I see more people have logged in now. We got a full class today. So hopefully you can all hear me, you can all see me. We're going to start in sitting like always. So you can see I have a chair set up behind me. We'll start in sitting and then we'll move to a standing position. But of course, I'll do a couple of modifications for people who would like to stay seated if you want to. But for those who can stand, I would definitely encourage participating in the standing version, just because it's a little bit more difficult to train your balance when you're in a seated position versus a standing position, given that most of our balance deficits happen to be when we're in standing. Okay, so I'm going to move back now so you can all see me. So hopefully you can still hear me. I'm in a chair at the back. So you're going to start by sitting down in your chair and just shuffle yourself forward a little bit in the chair so that you can get your feet flat onto the floor. Ideally, you shouldn't be leaning or drifting off to the side, but you want to be sitting right on your sit bones, feet flat on the floor, nice tall spine. And we're going to start by taking a deep breath in and sweeping the arms up overhead. And breath out. Again, breath in. Growing taller each time. And again, breath in. And out. And this time we're going to float our arms up into a T shape. And you're going to make sure your shoulders are far away from the ears. So we're not lifting them up like this, but you want to keep those shoulders down. And move forward a little bit. From here, we're going to draw some circles with our arms. And with each repetition, you're going to make your circle smaller and smaller and smaller until your arms are moving in a sort of a small pulsating circle. That's sort of on the spot. And we're going to hold this position in our circular motion for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. And we're going to float the arms back up. We're going to circle now in the opposite direction to what we were just doing. Good. And with every circle, you want to see if you can make the circle smaller and smaller and smaller until again you're in this small pulsating circular motion for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good. We're going to bring the legs a little bit further apart, and we're going to bend our trunk forward and reach our fingers towards the floor. And then from here, you're going to take your arms and reach up into the sky. Really trying to stretch that back as much as you can. Nice and slow in your movement. Now, if your shoulders are feeling a bit sore and you don't want to reach up, that's okay. You don't have to reach up. You can reach down and then bring the arms out to the side if you like. If you don't want to reach up, that's absolutely fine. We're just getting our body a little bit warmer and moving through our ranges of movement. Good. Let's do 2 more here. Reaching down and reaching up. 1 more. Reaching down and all the way back up. Good. From here, we're going to keep our legs wide. We're going to turn our breastbone over to one side, and you're going to use your hands to hold onto the outside of the leg, and the other hand is holding onto your chair, just to pull you more into that rotation. You want to almost think you're reaching your breastbone to the back wall. We're going to hold this stretch here, sitting up nice and tall for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Reach your hand to the outside of the opposite knee. The other hand is going to grab hold of your chair. You're going to use your arms and pull yourself over into a rotational stretch, almost like you want to reach that breastbone to the back wall. And you're holding it here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. We're going to bring those legs together, and we're going to start by marching on the spot. So we're going to think about lifting up the knees up nice and high, but maintaining the same height. So as we're marching here, you'll notice that I'm still relatively tall, and I'm not getting lower and more slouched as I'm marching, but I'm sitting up nice and tall over my sit bones even as I lift my legs. So it's almost like you want to pretend you have a book balancing on your head, and you want to keep it there. You don't want to be losing that height as we're moving. Making sure you're swinging those arms, The back arm is also moving, right? So we're not just swinging forward, but we want the back arm as well. Good. Nice gentle pace. Just go at a pace that works for you, as long as we're sitting up nice and tall and lifting up those knees with the opposite arm. Good. We're going to keep this marching pattern going, except now we're going to go out, out, in. Good. So exactly the same marching movement. We're just going to move the legs out and in. So a little bit of a different pattern that we're doing here. And again, please go at your own pace. You don't have to do it quick. As long as you're trying to stay up nice and tall, we're not slouching, right? Keep your body nice and tall right over your sit bones as if you're balancing a book on your head. Good. Let's go 2 more. Last one. Good. From here, you're going to shuffle back a tiny, tiny bit. And then you're going to straighten one of your legs. Show me the bottom of your foot. Keeping that leg straight, you're going to draw some big circles with that ankle. As big as you can manage in whichever direction you would like. We're still trying to sit up nice and tall over our sit bones. We're not slouching. We're still keeping our head up nice and tall, chest up, circling the ankles to really warm up your feet. Good. Let's circle the other way now with the same ankle circling the other way. Trying to keep that knee nice and straight if you can. Chest up, nice and tall, no slouching. Good. Awesome job. Let's do one more. And rest. Good. Same thing other side. We're going to straighten the other leg. Show me the bottom of your foot. Now, in this position, you're going to circle the ankle as big as you can possibly make the movement. Sitting up nice and tall over the sit bones, imagining you're still balancing that book on your head. Good. And let's go the other direction with our ankle now. Really try to move that ankle as big as you can possibly go. Keeping that knee straight, chest up, nice and tall. Good. And rest. Okay. Now we're going to straighten the other knee. Show me the bottom of your foot. And this time, you're going to do some painting for me with the bottom of your foot. Keeping that leg straight, you're going to write your name in the air with the bottom of your foot. Almost as if you dip your foot into some paint. Then there's a blank canvas right in front of you by your screen. And you're using the bottom of your foot to write your name in the air. Good. So we're going for first and last name. Trying to keep that knee straight so it's all coming from your thigh muscle, right? Keeping that head nice and tall if you can. Try not to slouch or lean. We're keeping ourselves nice and tall. Good. When you finish that, you can switch to the other leg. Same thing. If you have a short name like me, you got lucky. But if you do have a short name, you're going to try to do it twice. So you're going to write your first and last name twice through if your name is really short like mine. Good. Well done, everybody. Good. Okay. Now, we're going to sit up nice and tall, shuffle forwards in our chair a little bit, hands on our hips. We're going to do a bit of a stretch for the back of our leg. We're going to straighten one of our legs. Keep that knee straight, pull the toes up towards you, spine nice and tall. You're going to hinge forward at the hips. Just enough so you can feel a stretch of the back of the thigh, the back of the knee, and maybe even in your calf a little bit. We're going to hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and coming back up. Good. Same thing, other side. Sitting up nice and tall, shoulders away from the ears. Straighten the leg. Pull the toes up towards you. Keep your back straight and hinge forward at the hips. Just enough so you can feel the stretch of the back of that thigh and the knee. Hold it here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. This time we're going to bring our legs a little bit wider again. I'm going to sit up nice and tall, and we're going to hinge forward at the hips again with your back straight, just enough so you can feel a stretch in your inner thighs. So you don't have to keep your hands on your hips. You can put them on your knees if you would like, as long as your legs are in an open position to feel the inner thigh stretch. Holding it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back up. Very good. Okay. Next, we're going to do our sit to stands nice and slow, working on our form. So I'm going to turn my chair sideways just so you can see me, but you stay where you are. I just want to turn sideways so you can see me better. So if you are hoping to stay seated for the rest of the class, you don't have to do a full stand. By all means, you can hold onto your chair and just do a couple of bum lifts like so. Okay, so if you don't want to stand, you can just try to lift your bottom up, transfer your weight forward. Or if you want to stay seated, but you do want to try a stand, you can try it with us and then sit back down afterwards. But for the rest of us who would like to stand for the class, we're going to shuffle to the front of our chairs, place our feet flat onto the floor, and what we're going to do here is we're going to lean forward a few times. Okay, so imagine someone's grabbed your shirt and they're pulling your chest forward over your toes. So we're just going to swing forward a few times. Good, and when you're ready, you're going to pull yourself forward even further to hover your bottom off the seat, and then you're going to dig those heels down into the floor to stand up, tucking that pelvis underneath at the very top. Hold this posture here for 3, 2, 1, and then you're going to sit back down. Stick your bottom back, chest forward, bring your bottom towards the chair, and have a sit down. Good. How was that? Okay, we're going to try it again. So you'll notice as we're doing this, we're going to try not to use momentum. You're going to try to control that movement, tucking that pelvis underneath at the very top, and then sticking that bottom back, chest forward to sit down again. Good, nice and slow. And again, chest forward, push into your feet to stand, tuck that pelvis underneath, hold it there. And then we're going to sit back down, pelvis back, chest forward. Good. See if you can do 4 more of these in your own time. Take your time. It does not have to be the same speed I'm doing it, but I just want you to practice doing 4 sit-to-stands nice and slow. Good. If you're doing the seated version and you're just lifting your bottom, same thing, nice and slow, using your legs more than your arms to lift your bum off the seat. Good, well done, everybody. Good, keeping that spine long when you're in standing. And if you're on your 4th one already, you're gonna stay standing. Tuck that pelvis underneath. Good, okay. I'm gonna turn my chair over. Now, for those who are in standing, we're going to stay in standing. If you're sitting down, I'll show you a modification, but let me just show you what we're doing first. So we're doing our ankle sways. You'll probably remember these from last time. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. Your feet are about hip width apart. Knees are straight. You're going to imagine you have no joints in your body. You have no hips, you've got no knees, you've got no trunk. You're nice and rigid, like a piece of brick or a a piece of wood. Keeping yourself nice and straight, you're going to hinge from the ankles forward. So you're going to move your weight as far forward on your feet as possible without having to move your feet, without lifting the heels and without stepping forward, right? You want to bring your weight to the front of your feet as far as possible without losing balance. And then you're going to move your weight to the back of your feet as far as possible without losing your balance. And then swing forward again. So we're just practicing our ankle sways here and challenging our limits of stability here, where you can move your weight over your base of support without losing your balance. So keep going if you're standing. If you're in sitting, sit to the front of your chair, nice and tall, exactly the same, except let me go sideways, except you're pushing your weight to the front of your feet and then the back of your feet. So if I exaggerate, it's kind of like this, except you're not actually lifting your feet off the floor. You're thinking about pressing into the front of your feet and then pressing into the back of your feet without hinging at the hips. So you're pressing into the front of the feet, pressing into the back of the feet without hinging at the hips. Okay, same thing, keep going. Seeing if you can go a little bit further each time without losing your balance. And you'll probably find going forward is going to feel like you're moving a lot more than if you were to try and go backwards, and that's very normal. Keep trying to explore this weight shift movement here. Good, well done. Let's do one more. Good. Okay, I'm going to turn to face you. Same thing with your feet. This time, we're going to go side to side. So rather than going forwards and backwards like we just did, you're going to sway and move your weight to the right side and then move your weight to the left side. Notice here how my feet are relatively narrow. I don't want you to have your legs wide apart because in that way, you're not really going to be doing that ankle sway. It'll be more your hips. You want to keep the feet relatively close together, and then you're swaying side to side. So notice here how my hips are pretty still. I'm not doing this, right? No hula hoops. But we're keeping our hips straight, and we're moving the entire body, kind of like a upside down pendulum, if you will. So it's just coming from the ankle sway here, side to side. Keep going. If you're sitting, same thing. Sit at the front of the chair, feet relatively close, and you're swaying side to side with your feet. So you probably can't see me move very much, but I'm using just my feet to transfer the weight from side to side. So you can see I'm kind of swaying here, but I'm not doing this, right? Just in the feet. Good, keep going. Good, well done. Let's do 3 more here in your own time. Really thinking about that upside down pendulum idea. It's not the hips or trunk moving, but it's coming from your ankles. Good, well done. Good. We're now going to try our hip sway. So that was our ankle sway, where everything is nice and stiff, but just coming from the ankle. But now we're going to do our hip sways. And I'm going to turn sideways again so you can see. Your knees are still straight, but this time you're leading the movement with your hips. So we're going to sway forward with the hips and backwards with the hips. So notice here how I'm not bending my knees. My knees are straight, but I'm sending my hips forward and backwards. So almost like someone's grabbed you around your belt and they're pulling you forward with your belt and then pulling you back with your belt. Your knees are straight, but the movement is coming from the hips. The hips are now swaying. And you see that this movement here is very different to our ankle sways that we just did. So this is our ankle sway. Our body is nice and still, but now we're doing our hip sways. Good. Keep going if you're in standing. If you're in sitting, your hip sways are going to look like this. So notice how as I'm moving backwards, for people who are sitting, I'm not leaning onto the chair, right? We're leaning forward and then we're leaning back, but we're not touching the chair. I'm using my body. You can see there's a space here. I'm using my trunk muscles to hold myself up, right? So I'm not relying on the chair, and I'm not leaning back into the chair, into a slouch position, but you're keeping yourself upright, okay? Keep going. See if you can go a little further with each repetition. So again, we're challenging ourselves to see how far we can move our center of gravity over our base of support without losing our balance or needing to take a step. Good. Let's do 2 more. Good. Okay, I'm going to turn to face you. Same thing, we're going side to side now. So you're moving your hips side to side as if someone's pulled your belt one way and then pulled your belt the other way. So you'll notice as I'm doing this movement, this hip sway sideways is very different to our ankle sway. So notice here how my ankle sway, my hips are not moving, and I'm kind of like moving as a piece, as a whole piece of wood or something like that. That's not very soft at all, but very rigid. Whereas when you move with your hips, it's very different, and you're getting that trunk and that pelvis involved. Good. Well, it doesn't have to be fast, but just in your own time, imagine someone's pulling your belt one way and then pulling it the other way as far as possible without you losing your balance. Good. Well done, everybody. I know it's a bit of a strange one, but keep going. Good. Now, if you're sitting, same thing. Moving your upper body side to side without losing your balance and falling to the side. But you're trying to not arch your trunk like this, but you're keeping yourself nice and still, and you're moving through the hips. Good, keep going. Let's do 3 more in your own time. Well done. And rest there. Okay, we're going to add in some arms now. So here's what's going to look like. We're going to still keep our feet relatively close together, not touching, but relatively close. From here, you're going to imagine you've got no knees, so you can't bend your knees at all. You're going to take one of your arms and you're going to reach forward as far as you can possibly reach without your knees bending and without having to take a step. So from the side, this is what it looks like. You're going to reach forward as far as you can. Notice how my knees are straight, but I'm bending at my hips. I'm reaching as far as I can without having to take a step forward. So the idea here is you're challenging yourself. See how far you can reach without losing your balance or bending your knees. And then after you reach forward, you're going to do the same thing to the side. Reach as far as you can to the side without having to take a step or save your balance in any way. Keep those knees straight. And then same arm, you're going to reach backwards as far as you can without losing your balance or bending those knees. Good. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Reaching forward as far as you can without losing your balance or having to bend those knees. Reaching to the side as far as you can without having to take a step to save your balance. Good. And reaching to the back. And notice I have to keep moving because my room is relatively small here. But you get the idea. Good. Keep going. Keep switching those arms. Make sure you go forward, side, and backwards with each of your arms. Good, well done, everybody. See if you can go a little bit further each time. Really try to challenge yourself without losing your balance. Well done. Imagine you're really reaching for something. Maybe there's $1 million taped on the wall. And you're trying to reach for it as far as you can. Good, well done. Let's do one more round with forward, sideways, and backwards in your own time. Good. Okay. So now we're going to do the exact same thing, except we're going to add in a reaction drill. So you probably remember from last week, reaction drill is the same movement, except I'm going to call out which direction you're going to be leaning to or reaching to. So if I say right forward, you're going to take your right arm and you're going to reach forward exactly like how we did just now, as far as you can possibly go. Good. And if I say left sideways, you're reaching to the side with your left arm as far as possible. If I say right backwards, you're reaching back as far as possible with the right arm. Okay, so hopefully you get the idea. So I'm going to turn it on diagonal so you can see me better. Okay, but I'm going to say which arm and which direction you're reaching for. If you're sitting down, exactly the same thing. You're still reaching in sitting. Okay, let's go. Left forward. Right backwards. Right forwards. Left forward. Left side. Right side. Left back. Left forward. Right side. Left back. Right forward. Left side. Right back. Left back. Right back. Left forward. Right forward. Left back. Right side. Left forward. Left back. And rest. Well done, everybody. Hopefully you're still with me. I know reaction drills are always a little bit challenging. Okay, now we're going to practice some more weight shifting with our legs. So you're going to take one of your legs and you're going to step forward and have the opposite arm in line with the leg. So the opposite arm forward and the other arm behind like this. And then from here, the same leg that stepped forward, you're going to step back and switch the arms. So let me go sideways so you can see. So again, that was forward, opposite arm to leg. Notice how my back arm is still there. And then same leg is going to step backwards, opposite arm to leg. Okay, let's try that again. Let me move this chair. So we're going to go, let me turn to face you so you can see. We're going to go forward, opposite arm to leg. And then we're going to step back with that same leg that went forward. Let's try that again. We go forward, opposite arm and leg, and back. So same leg is stepping, same leg is stepping. Forward, and back. Well done. Okay, let's do that again. We're going to add on this time. We're going to go forward, same leg back. Now, other leg out to the side and reach those arms open and come back in. Let's try that again. Same side. We step forward. We step back with the same leg. And then the opposite leg steps out to the side and we reach our arms. With me? Let's try the other side. A bit of a thinker, this one. Step forward. Same leg, stepping back. Again, stepping forward. Stepping back. Again, stepping forward. So same leg stepping. Stepping back. Now we go opposite leg, step out to the side and reach those arms. Let's try that again. So we're going to go forward, back, opposite leg to the side and reach those arms. Good. Other leg, going forward, back, step to the side. Good. Keep trying to practice that a few more times on your own. Now, if you're sitting down, same thing. You're going to go forward, back, and side. So exactly the same. You go forward, same leg back, opposite leg side. Okay? Keep going. Good. So working on our weight shift here. And make sure as you're doing this, please feel free to do this in your own time. It does not have to be the same speed as what I'm doing, as long as you're getting the same pattern of this weight shift. I know my room is super narrow that I'm working with today. So even though my head's cut off in your screens, hopefully you can still see what I'm doing. Awesome job, everybody. Keep going. Well done. Once you have this movement down and you're comfortable with it, see if you can step even further with those legs. Really step as far as you can. Working on that weight shift. Because the weight shift ability is what's going to give us that better balance for when you feel like you're moving to the side, wobbling, or you're about to fall. You can use that reaction of stepping in order to save your balance. So really important we do some weight shifts. Keep going. Well done, everybody. Let's do one more round on each side in your own time. Does not have to be fast. Feel free to do it at your own pace. People who are sitting, hopefully you're still with us. Good. And rest. Okay. Next, we're going to practice some of our pivot turns. So you'll probably remember last week we did a big star position and we were kind of waddling from side to side in a star and we were turning in that position. So we're going to do it a little bit differently today. We're going to work on a single leg pivot. So I've got one leg on that's going to stay on the floor and the other leg is going to be doing this marching position. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to imagine this leg here is bolted into the floor and I can only pivot on the floor, but I can't lift that leg. So you're going to turn around in a circle with that leg firmly planted into the floor, but you're pivoting on it in order to turn. So you're pivoting on that leg a little bit. Now, if you're on carpet or floor that's quite sticky and you can't quite pivot, that's okay. Just try your best to lift, put the foot down, and then you pivot rather than standing on the leg and pivoting. You can put both feet down and then you pivot. Put both feet down and then you pivot. Or if you are able to, you can pivot in standing. So you lift the leg and you pivot and you turn. Or you can put that foot back down and then pivot on both sides. So you'll see I'm doing it relatively quickly. Feel free to do it slow. Now, if you're sitting, you of course can't pivot and turn with your chair, but we're gonna stick those legs in together. We're gonna put our hands on our waist, and you're going to rock side to side like so. So notice here how as I'm rocking side to side, my bottom is coming off the seat. So I'm tipping from one side to the other, lifting the bottom off the seat. But you'll notice my spine is nice and tall, and I'm not doing this, right? This arching movement is not the same as the whole body tipping from side to side. Lifting the bottom cheeks on either side. Good, keep going. Okay, for people who are standing, hopefully you're still practicing lifting the leg and pivoting. So one leg stays on the spot and the other leg kind of goes around. So imagine you're keeping this leg that's steady in the middle, as if it's kind of in the middle of a clock face, and your other leg is stepping, tracing around the circle of the clock, if that makes sense. Please switch sides if you feel like you're a little bit dizzy. You can practice same thing on the other side. So if I go to the other side, other leg stays in the middle of the clock face, and the outside leg is going to be moving. So just practicing that pivot turn here. It doesn't have to be a very sharp turn. You can just do a little bit at a time, but you're working on lifting that outside leg nice and tall if you can. And your arms can do whatever they like. If you're in sitting, please continue with your side-to-side tips in the chair. Good, well done, everybody. Now, for a bit of challenge, if you would like to try and you feel safe enough to try, and you've got the hang of that pivot turn, what you can try to do then is go backwards instead, because we've been going forwards, right? Turning, but you can try turning backwards in the other direction if you feel you're able to. But of course, you can imagine it's a lot more difficult to go backwards than it is forward. So please be careful and hold on to something for support if you need, okay? Still standing up nice and tall. People who are sitting, continue on with your swaying weight shift in sitting. Still with me? Do you all hate me yet? Keep trying. I know this feels awkward now, but the more you practice, the better you'll get at this turning and this ability to pivot on your leg. Good. Make sure you try the other side as well, so we're not going to get too dizzy, turning in one direction the whole time. So people who are standing, you can feel free to either turn forward or turn backwards. It's up to you, as long as that leg, whichever leg is in the middle of that clock face, stays stationary, except for when it's pivoting. And again, please do this slow. Don't have to do it as quick as me, but if you're comfortable doing it quicker, you can feel free to do it quicker, or you can stay with the slow version. It's entirely up to you. Doing really good, everybody. Well done. And we're just going to finish whatever direction you're going in right now. Take your time. There's no rush. Good, and rest. Woo, Good, well done, you guys. You can shake out those legs if you need. Good, okay. We're gonna find a wall and we're gonna stand with our back against the wall. And we're gonna practice doing a bit of a chest stretch. So we're gonna bring our arms up into this sort of a fork shape, if you will. Arms in 90 degrees. You're gonna lean back into the wall and you're gonna squeeze those shoulder blades back, reach those arms to touch the wall, open up the chest, looking up a little bit, holding it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good, we're gonna do that one more time. Reach those arms up, elbows high, 90 degrees with the elbow bend. We're gonna lean back into the wall, squeezing those shoulder blades together, opening the chest for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good, okay. We're going to bring our feet a little bit wider apart, arms open on the wall. You're gonna try to keep your arms and your back against a wall, and you're gonna slide on a diagonal so you can stretch the outside of your body. But the key here is you want to keep leaning into the wall, so we're not doing this, right? You want to open the chest, open the back by leaning against the wall as you're stretching. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back up. Good. Same thing, other side. Tipping over, opening that chest back against the wall. Good, really feel that stretch down the opposite side. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back up. You can drop the arms for a second. We're gonna do that one more time on each side. Hopefully that stretch should feel really good. Down to one side again, really keeping your back and arms attached to the wall if you can. Good, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back up. Good, last time, other side, tipping over, stretching that side, back against the wall, open the chest, hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, coming back up and drop the arms. Good. We're gonna now do a calf stretch. You're gonna turn to face the wall, put your hands on the wall. I'll show you a different version in sitting in a second. You're going to bring one of your legs back and one of your legs forward. So you're sort of in a lunge position. You're gonna bend that front knee and straighten that back knee. So you're trying to reach that back heel down into the floor, even though your weight is forward. And you feel that nice stretch down the back calf. If you don't feel it, step the leg back further or the front leg forward more and bend further into the front leg, stretching the back calf. We're gonna hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, and you're gonna do the same thing on the other side, okay? Now, if you're sitting, bring one leg forward, bring that foot up towards the toes as far as you can, and you should feel a stretch in the calf already. If not, you can grab a towel, loop it around the bottom of your foot, and pull up. So you're pulling the toes up even further to feel that stretch against in your calf. Or if you shuffle your chairs towards a wall, you can place the foot on a wall and press into the wall. You'll feel that stretch in the calf muscle there as well, okay? Make sure you switch sides. People who are standing, how we doing? Still stretching? We'll do one more on each side, so make sure you switch sides. Good. Last time on the other side. Good. Okay. We're now going to do a thigh stretch. So if you're standing, hold on to a wall, and you're going to bring one of your legs up towards your bottom. So you can either hold on to the ankle and pull it towards your bottom, keep those knees together, push the hips forward, or if you can't reach your foot, that's okay. Put it on something like a chair, a box, a stool, something behind you, and then keep your knees together. Make sure the knees not forward, right? You want to keep them aligned, and then you're going to stick the hips forward again to feel a stretch down the front of your thigh and probably a bit in the hip as well. Keep going, keep holding that. If you're sitting, you're going to do that slightly differently. You're going to shuffle your bottom forward, bring one leg behind under the chair as far as possible, drop that knee down to the floor and lean back. So from the side, this is what it looks like. Bring that leg back behind you on the chair as far as possible, bring that knee down to the floor, lean back, and you'll feel that stretch here on the thigh. Same thing. Okay, so foot back, lean back. Keep going. We're gonna switch to the other side when you're ready. Again, if you're standing, either hold the foot or you can keep it down on a chair or a stool and stick the hips forward to stretch the front of the thigh. Good job, everybody. Good, and rest. Last thing, we're gonna bring the legs a little bit wider apart. Same thing if you're sitting, legs wide. You're going to reach the fingertips down to the floor, bend those knees as far to the floor as you can. You don't have to touch the floor. Then from here, you're gonna reach up as far as you can, and then circle the arms all the way back down. Let's do that again. Same thing in sitting. Reaching down as far as you can. And then we're going to reach up as far as you can, stretching that trunk, and then opening the arms back down. Let's do one more. Reaching down as far as you can go. Reaching up as far as you can go. And opening the arms back down. Good. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today for our third class of our balance exercise series. Next week will be our final class, and it will be Monday at the same time. So hopefully we'll see you all back. If anybody has any questions, you can feel free to type in the chat box, or of course, you can always email us at info@parkinson.bc.ca. If you would like to ask us more specific questions. But you'll probably notice a theme in our balance class in the last couple of weeks is we always work on a lot of weight shifting, a lot of ankle and hip sways type activity. And for those who attended my balance talk a couple months ago in the summer, you'll probably remember that the reason we do that is because the ankle sway and the hip sway are strategies that we normally use to stop ourselves from falling if our center of gravity goes outside of our base of support. But of course, when you have Parkinson's, your stability limits of your ankle and your hip is greatly decreased. And so we try to work on that to get it a little bit better, and also weight shifting, because that ability to be able to step out in different directions is what's going to save you from a fall. So hence why we do a lot of reaction drills where it's a certain direction you're reaching and I would tell you right, forward, or left, back. And I know those ones are always a bit hard, but there's a reason we do them. So hopefully you found them challenging but doable. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for the great comments. I'm glad you think my smile is infectious, because that's what it's for. I'm trying to make exercise fun and as barrier-free as possible for everybody. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place. And if you want to look at any of our exercise classes in the future, you can feel free to click on the link that's at the very top of the chat box, and it'll give you our future exercise classes. And as you probably know, we have different exercise series every month. So there are different themes. If you're looking for something specific, let us know and we can try to organize a class to work on those specific skills. Okay, well, thanks everybody. And thank you, Alana, for being here. And we will see you next week. Have a great week, everybody. I hope it's sunny where you are. Happy Monday.